Cheers, I do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? And you know how much I love a bargain, don't you? Anyways, hey, so I just found this today. It is out of Virginia. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but Catoctin Creek. This is their Roundstone Rye. A lot of medals here, it says. It's their most popular whiskey. It also says, I'm going to try to read a little bit from their website here if I can get my eyes to focus, is a very unique rye whiskey made completely from scratch at our distillery in Purcellville, Virginia. This pre-prohibition style rye whiskey is made from 100% rye grain sourced locally when available. It is mashed, fermented, distilled, and aged completely in our distillery before bottling it at a very sippable 80 proof. Aged in New Minnesota white oak cask for a period of just under 2 years, so it's a young whiskey. The whiskey is smooth, woody, which with that true grain character achieved in a relatively young whiskey. Roundstone Rye has a delicious woody taste with notes of caramel, rich butter toffee, and a hint of lemon on the nose. Roundstone Rye is a superb sipping whiskey, great in a Manhattan or your favorite rye whiskey cocktails. Delicious mixed on the rocks or neat. So I do want to make a Manhattan out of this. However, anytime I try something new, I do want to try it neat first. So here's the thing, man. I found this at a grocery store today for $20. Originally, their suggested retail price is, I think it says $44.99 here. Let's see. Let me look that up again. Suggested retail price. I had it here. Now I lost it. Yeah, $44.99. And the store did tell me today that they originally did retail at about 45. Because I asked why why it was on a closeout for $20. And they said, well, it originally retailed for about 45, and they had trouble moving it. They marked it down, and now just closing it out. See, the problem is, it's not that this whiskey probably doesn't deserve that $45 price tag. Is that there's a lot of competition out there, and if folks don't know a brand, especially in a grocery store, right? So if there were, I've got two pretty good sized liquor stores here, Macadoodles and Brown Derby. Now, whiskey like this, whiskey drinkers are going to go to those two stores to look for it, and it probably would have done very well, but it wasn't going to do as well at a grocery store without doing some tastings. And that's when you need a good rep involved to really get that whiskey out there. And a lot of distributors and companies aren't able or willing to do that. You do get a little lemon on the nose because that's what specifically I was looking for after that description. I'm not feeling a big toffee notes on the nose that you might find that in the flavor. They say lemon. I'm also going to say I feel some ginger, and I got that from another rye I had recently. It could be just the way I'm interpreting certain aromas and flavors, but I really feel like I'm getting ginger, like a fresh, fresh grated ginger. If you're following me, I also feel like I'm picking up some white pepper notes on there as well. You did definitely feel those rye notes without a doubt. So I want to take a drink because I'm just dying to taste this thing. They only had a few bottles, man, but I was afraid to put too much down without knowing anything about it. So I have a few friends from Virginia, so I asked a question on, well, a few social media friends, I should say, and one of them answered, said it is very good, and they're very popular in their neck of the woods. Oh, it is nice. Okay, wow, that's very nice. Yeah, that is easy to drink. Catoctin Creek Roundstone Rye whiskey, 80 proof. It does say it's a single barrel whiskey. Typically single barrels tend to run 90 proof, sometimes higher, but they typically tend to run at least 90 proof. But I will say I'm more familiar with bourbon and small batch American whiskeys more so than I am rye. I'm just recently trying to delve into the rye game, as it were. I do like the spicy nature of it, and I love a Manhattan. So typically, when I make a Manhattan, I use a bourbon that uses rye as a secondary. I don't use a wheated bourbon for a Manhattan because it's too sweet. But bourbon, using bourbon in a Manhattan, it tends to be very flavorful, which is why I like it. But a while back, I found the New Holland beer barrel rye for $20 at a store, again on a closeout, different store, but on a closeout. Has given me similar notes actually. Although I will say on that one I got a lot of ginger. You feel a lot of spice here. You got a lot of spice. There are some fruit notes happening too. There's a lot going on. Certainly the buttery toffee that they talk about, without a doubt. It's very very woody, especially on the back end and the finish there. But there are some nice lingering finishing spice notes. It's very pleasant. I'm really looking forward to having a Manhattan with this, man. I am. I love a Manhattan. So recently, I've talked to some whiskey geeks, I guess, for lack of a better word, and they were younger than much younger, at least 20 years younger, probably closer to 30. But anyway, when I mentioned a Manhattan or an old fashioned or Manhattan, so oh no, we only drink it neat. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not saying there is, but when you make a cocktail like a Manhattan or an old fashioned, a classic cocktail like that, you do not want to use bottom shelf liquor. You do want to use a good quality whiskey, whatever you're using. Now, if you're gonna highball it, if you're gonna toss Coke in it, yeah, I don't know. I never say go bottom shelf or anything, but yeah, you don't need you don't need a $45 rye whiskey, but yeah, if you're making a Manhattan, you do so. Anytime you can get a deal like this, a $45 whiskey for $20, you jump on it, whether you know about it or not. I only wish now that I've tasted it, I wish I'd have bought 2 bottles. They're talking about some bad weather coming in tomorrow, so I stopped at the store, picked up a few things. Well, most people are buying, milk and bread and eggs. We already had those things. I went mostly for liquor. Had to get liquor, soda pop, some meat, to make sure I had stuff to cook, man. Anyway, I digress. Mm. Uh. It's about 10 o'clock on a Friday in the evening on a Friday as I do this video, and believe it or not, this is my first alcoholic beverage. That's like one of those days. I thought about going to bed, but then I caught a second one, and I'm going to stay up and have a cocktail. Anyway, a Catoctin Creek, 80 proof, roundstone rye. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was traveling, anytime I travel anywhere, I try to pick up anything from wherever I am. So if I was passing through this neck of the woods, saw this distillery, I would have paid full price for this sight unseen. Or especially if they had a sample there and tasted it. Having tasted this now, yes, I would have paid $45 for it. I am very glad that I only paid $20. However, it is worth full retail. I am Tom, the whiskey whisperer at this particular moment in time. Whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, prefer wisdom man. All right, good guy. Cheers, y'all.